Hello and welcome to Odetplin News. I'm your host, Robert Anchor. In today's new broadcast, we'll be covering the end to the Rise of Nations era, the Maryland expansion, and the troubles in Avalon. As we are aware of certain individuals, I would first like to assure all viewers that Odetplin News aims to be an unbiased source. As such, we'll be acknowledging the existence of the Tornian Empire as ruled by Queen Izetta and the Union of People's States as a separate yet existing entity, even if some of our writers do not fully agree with that opinion. With that out of the way, let's get started. In our first story, we'll be covering the changing landscape of global affairs. An era of new nations, which has often been called the Rise of Nations, is now beginning to come to a close. This time has widely been regarded as starting with the independence of the Bla-Lingen, or Blue Line, ignore my pronunciation, and it ramped up after the establishment of the Holy Land Republic, or now known as the United Kingdom of Holy Nations. However, now with the collapse of the Tornian Empire, it has been widely regarded that a new era has begun, the Powder Keg era. This has been in response towards the numerous close calls to what some are calling a world war. This ranges from the declared independence of the Union of People's States to the Newfoundland crisis. Luckily, all conflicts, so far, have been resolved with the exception of one. At the moment, the Tornian Empire still lays claim to their former territory of Odetplin, which is claimed and occupied by the Union of People's States, which we will be hereafter be referring to as the UPS. They have, however, let go of their claims over Australia and Ireland. Reportedly, this was due to separate deals being made with the entities representing each party. However, the issue of Odetplin still looms with no end in sight at the moment. Negotiations over it have been called by both sides with an expected summit soon. We cannot, at the studio, say with confidence how we believe the story is going to go. We will, however, keep you updated with our newspaper source, the Odetplin Echo. Our second story will be related to the first, the expansion of Maryland. Towards the end of the Rise of Nations, a nation appeared on the east coast of North America. We now know this nation as the Maryland Federal Alliance. It is a country which in under 15 days became the largest on the planet. This is both in population and in land occupied. This rapid expansion, although worrying for some, is widely considered to be a large achievement among the international community. As an example of a concerned nation, the Eldian Empire threatened to invade Maryland as soon as its creation due to it crossing a line, according to the Eldians. This was met with a wide response of dislike from Maryland, but eventually both sides agreed to create a border, mostly on the 69th parallel. However, recently, more conflicts have stirred up continuously with Elia and across the Atlantic Ocean. For example, across the Atlantic, Maryland chose to sign the Odetplin Accords with the UPS, Hong Kong, Elia, the United Kingdom of Holy Nations, and the East Asian Empire. Although some have withdrawn their signature, like the Elian Empire, or have outright joined the UPS, like the East Asian Empire, Maryland and Hong Kong have openly stated that they remain a signatory separate and will defend Odetplin in a case of war in accordance with the Accords. However, it is unclear for the United Kingdom of Holy Nations. If you remember from our first story, Odetplin has been threatened by invasion from the Tornian Empire. This means that if Tornia were to invade Odetplin, a war would also occur with Maryland and Tornia. It, however, has proven to be a mostly beneficial deal for Maryland so far. Multiple deliveries have been made by the UPS to give goods to their allies. Although, to the north, Elia is once more becoming a problem to Maryland. This can be seen with the Newfoundland crisis in Elia, which threatened to invade Maryland based on a misplaced belief that Newfoundland was with them. War may break out between Elia and Maryland in the future, but we don't know where or how. We then believed it would be mutually beneficial to us and the viewers if we got the opinion of Maryland on this topic.
Although controversial, our expansion into the American Great Plains is fully justified, as even though we are a new nation, we will continue to expand and continue to create our borders in the way we see fit. We do not plan on any aggressive actions, and any aggressive actions taken towards us are fully unjustified. Thank you for your time. Glory to the mighty crab. Hail Quasi.
Our third and final story will be relating to the troubles in Avalon. Recently, more and more issues have been coming up in the global corporation, some of which cannot be ignored any longer. This ranges from one of their leaders going to the hospital in critical condition to them going to war. Avalon has been seen as the pinnacle of global capitalism since the dawn of the settlement era, although it has now fallen behind on global trends. It seemingly started after their first chief executive officer, Mr. Avalon, fell ill and was hospitalized. Soon after, the story went public via leaks. The Avalon board of directors seemingly gave emergency powers to the CEO of the Avalon International Security Organization, also known as Philosophas. Immediately afterwards, CEO Philosophas declared on the international stage that Avalon would be seeking to regain its place on the world stage as number one. This was through threatening a neighbor to their north, the United Kingdom of Holy Nations. After being threatened, radicals in the UKHN, led by Vladimir Gorbachev of Anatolia, attempted to defeat Avalon forces. This failed, and Gorbachev retreated back to the Tronian Empire, where he remains in exile to this day. Even though soon after the speech CEO Philosophas gave, the Acid District, a city of Avalon, became the first economically around the world, it was quickly beaten again by Odetplin, which now sits at 110,000 emeralds. Avalon was also beaten internationally by our second story, Maryland, for the world's largest country in land size. It was also never close to reaching Maryland as the world's largest country in population. So far, somehow, Philosophas's emergency powers seem to actually be declining the corporation more than helping it. We don't know how this may affect change throughout the coming weeks. We asked a civilian on the street their opinion of the situation.
What do I think about the decline of Avalon? Huh. Don't they eat babies, the weirdos? I don't know. Pretty happy about it, to be honest.
That would be all for this broadcast from Odetplin News. Thank you for watching, and I'm your host, Robert Anker, signing off.